Good morning and happy Friday. If you are a returning listener, I want to thank you for being here again. Today is episode 3, and I'm a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious, but I do know that that's part of getting out of my comfort zone. So this is what I'm doing today. And I am excited to talk about what I'd like to talk about today because I'm really passionate about it. But just in case you are a first-time listener, let me introduce myself. My name is Leticia, and this is my podcast, Healing with Leticia. So I do hope that you enjoy this episode. And today, I'm trying to have these episodes flow in a way that feel genuine and not overly planned and organized, because I also don't think that feels natural. So let's see. Originally, I was going to have this podcast episode be about, like the whole cliche thing of, it's not you, it's me. But it still is connected to what I'm going to be talking about, which is the relationship with ourselves. And I think that that's what the title is going to be called, Relationship with Self. This is huge, okay? This is like connected to your self-esteem, your self-worth, your boundaries. I mean, all of these are connected. And the moment that you don't take care of yourself, the moment that you let things slide with relationships where you don't take care of yourself well, even if it is like your own self-care, right? Lack of self-care, letting people take advantage of you, not knowing when to say yes, not knowing when to say no, not feeling comfortable or safe enough to talk about how you feel. This actually hurts the relationship with yourself. And this is something that was a very hard lesson, even for myself, growing up. I'm now in my 30s, so, I'll let you know I'm 37 now. So if you ask me how many lives I've lived, though, I will tell you it does not just feel like I'm living one. Because, obviously trauma will do that to you too, which, is another whole episode in itself, if I should go there to talk about that. But, you just feel like you've had to go through a lot of lessons to get to this point of having good boundaries. And that's something that I definitely focus on as a therapist working with others, checking in how they have relationships with people, how do they honor how they feel, do they know when to say yes, do they know when to say no. And I've noticed that there is definitely a correlation with having low self-esteem and not having good boundaries within yourself. So if there are people-pleasing tendencies, and this is something that might create some controversy for some people because, especially if you've been trained by family in your childhood, with caregivers and just, people around you that expect you to be this way, you may not feel comfortable causing other people pain rather than causing yourself the pain. And that also borders on codependency tendencies because, you take other people's emotions and you become responsible for those rather than, letting someone sit with their own distress and taking responsibility and accountability for the role that you also play, whether it be in your own life with your own experiences or, the relationships that you're having and the role that you play in those. So it is very important to check in with yourself, especially if you are having issues with your self-esteem right now and you're not really sure where they're stemming from. Something I would ask myself is, growing up, did maybe, a teacher, sometimes it's a teacher, sometimes it's a coach. It could be an overly critical parent or parents, grandparents in some cases that, I work with some clients. It could have been like a grandparent when the parents weren't around, or a combination of all of the above. So then, you get into relationships that feel familiar, and then you're playing out some of these patterns because that's what feels comfortable. So that's not going to help how you feel about yourself, and then that hurts the relationship with yourself. So I'm not sure if this episode will be very long, because I definitely would like to dive a little bit deeper into this, more connected to, what can we do to obviously have higher self-esteem. And like you probably are already hearing, the theme here is having better boundaries, right? Knowing when to say yes and no. Being comfortable with letting other people down rather than putting yourself down. I'll tell you now, right, as a therapist, it took me a long time to really understand that, especially coming from family that feels that you should be responsible for their feelings. So if you're struggling with that right now, I would probably ask myself, am I overly responsible for other people's feelings? Do other people expect me to read their mind, to fix their situations, and to be responsible for what they're going through? Usually that stems from parents or caregivers or someone that wanted you to be responsible for their feelings. And I know in my case, that is the case. So, obviously being transparent here because it can help someone out there feel comforted and, not feel alone with knowing where this comes from. And I mean, in my case as being as a therapist, I do see this a lot with clients where it started off early off, like we get trained to be a certain way by modeled behaviors and expectations that are unrealistic. And, another thing too is if you had parents that were not happy together, sometimes one parent can look to their child to be their emotional husband or their emotional, wife. And so this can already have you feeling overly responsible for people's feelings very early on. So these are things to look out for. And if you find yourself feeling like these are all things that you're struggling with right now, then most likely there is something going on with not having very good boundaries in your relationships, not feeling comfortable to speak your feelings and your thoughts, and not feeling comfortable to take up space, right? Like you have to be okay with sometimes causing conflict. And this is something that a lot of people are scared of, right? Like if I cause a conflict, someone's going to be upset with me. They're going to think I'm a bad person. They're going to leave. And if you also have abandonment issues on top of that, then it could be really hard for you to want to stir some things up. But I do know, and I do believe personally, as well as, working with many people, the right people will stay. You can't push people away that are supposed to be there for you. And the people that are not supposed to be there will eventually fade out because they're supposed to. So don't force people and situations and things into your life that are supposed to go away. Because I'll tell you right now, I would rather lose a lot of people rather than lose the relationship with myself and valuing myself and knowing what I'm not comfortable with and what I do want more of, which are things that make me feel good, things that make me feel safe, and people and situations and relationships that make me feel appreciated. And if you're feeling in your life right now that, you're not feeling appreciated, or you can't be yourself, you can't be seen, you can't be genuine, can't take up space, then these types of experiences and situations and relationships are going to hurt your self-esteem, which then obviously will hurt the relationship with yourself. And you have to be comfortable sometimes causing some conflict. And I'm not saying go around hurting people's feelings for no reason, okay? But remember, people benefit from you not having boundaries, okay? There will be people out there that will be upset with you the moment that you decide to put your foot down and say, no, I'm not okay with that anymore. Or, yes, I do want to do that thing, even if you don't agree. Those people won't be happy with you because they no longer benefit from your lack of boundaries. So that's not something for you to feel guilty about or to feel bad about. You have to be able to be okay with knowing that not everyone's always going to be happy with you. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. So I do hope that this message reaches someone that needed to hear this. I think the next episode may be something along the same topic, maybe like a part 2 or something, because there is a lot here that I could say. But I don't want this to be too long, since I know that we all have busy lives, and maybe I'll make longer episodes here and there, depending on what's going on at that time. But for today, I think that I'll conclude that here. I definitely hope that you all are doing well. It is Friday, one of my favorite days of the week. It's a little bit dreary and cloudy today, though. I do hope the sun comes out because I know that that can affect my mood. I don't know about you, but I do need some sunshine, so it would be nice for it to come out. Yeah, so let's see. So the weekend is here, so I would probably ask myself, which, I also ask myself the same thing. What do you have to look forward to? Do you have something to do? And who are you going to be connecting with? Because we all need connection and to feel like we're a part of a relationship that makes us feel valued, loved, and appreciated. So I do hope that you have all of those. And if not, take some time to create some of these, because I think that these are very essential. All right, it was great talking to you today. I hope that you all take care, be safe, and I will see you in the next episode. Planning for next Friday, but if it does not happen next Friday, I'll see you the next one after that. Take care, and I will talk to you next time. All right, I'm out. Bye.